Every capital city tells the world a story. Washington speaks of federal democracy. London reflects centuries of imperial history. Beijing projects the continuity of one of the world's oldest civilizations. Canberra symbolizes national compromise. Brasilia represents modern ambition. Abuja reflects political balance. Astana demonstrates national transformation. And now, Indonesia is preparing to tell its own new story, not through speeches, not through military parades, not through declarations, but through the creation of an entirely new capital city. To understand why Nusantara matters beyond Indonesia's borders, we must first understand Indonesia itself. Indonesia is often overlooked in global conversations, despite being one of the most strategically important nations on Earth. It is the world's fourth most populous country, the largest economy in Southeast Asia, the largest archipelagic nation, the largest Muslim-majority democracy, a member of the G20, a founding member of ASEAN, and one of the few countries positioned directly between two great oceans, the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Every year, an enormous share of global trade passes through Indonesian waters. The Strait of Malacca, the Sunda Strait, the Lombok Strait, the Makassar Strait. Together, these maritime corridors form part of the lifeblood of the global economy. Oil, natural gas, food, manufactured goods, critical minerals, consumer products, countless shipments connecting Asia, Europe, Australia, Africa, and the Americas pass through this region. Whoever understands Indonesia understands one of the world's most important maritime crossroads. This strategic geography has shaped Indonesian foreign policy for decades. Indonesia has traditionally avoided aligning itself too closely with any single great power. Instead, it has pursued what many analysts describe as an independent and active foreign policy, a strategy designed to maximize cooperation while preserving national sovereignty. This balancing approach has become increasingly important as geopolitical competition intensifies across the Indo-Pacific. The rivalry between the United States and China continues to reshape global politics. Supply chains are evolving, defense partnerships are expanding, competition over technology, semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and critical minerals is accelerating. Meanwhile, Southeast Asia finds itself at the center of these global shifts. Indonesia is not merely observing these changes, it is becoming one of the countries helping shape them. Nusantara reflects that growing confidence. Its location in East Kalimantan is not only geographically central within Indonesia, it also places the nation's administrative center closer to the heart of the wider Indo-Pacific region. Look at a map. From Nusantara, Indonesia is positioned to strengthen connections with eastern provinces, neighbouring ASEAN members, Northern Australia, and the broader Pacific. While Jakarta will remain Indonesia's commercial gateway, Nusantara symbolizes a broader national orientation toward the future. This is not a rejection of Jakarta, it is an expansion of Indonesia's strategic horizon. Another important aspect of Nusantara lies in regional development. For generations, many Indonesians outside Java have hoped for greater national attention. Infrastructure, education, healthcare, digital connectivity, industrial investment, transportation. The relocation of the capital sends a powerful message. National development should not be concentrated on one island alone. Political influence should be more geographically balanced. Economic opportunity should extend farther across the archipelago. If successful, Nusantara could encourage stronger integration between Western and Eastern Indonesia. That internal cohesion has international implications. A more balanced Indonesia is likely to become a more resilient Indonesia, and resilient nations often become stronger regional leaders. ASEAN itself stands to benefit. For decades, Southeast Asia has experienced remarkable economic growth. Yet the region also faces shared challenges: urbanization, climate change, energy security, food security, digital transformation, infrastructure financing, disaster resilience. Nusantara has the potential to become a regional laboratory for addressing many of these issues. Urban planners from neighboring countries are already watching closely. Government delegations continue to visit. International organizations have expressed interest in learning from Indonesia's experience. Whether Nusantara ultimately succeeds or encounters setbacks, its lessons will likely influence future urban planning across the global south. The project also carries important diplomatic symbolism. When foreign presidents, prime ministers, monarchs, business leaders, international investors, and global organizations eventually visit Indonesia's new capital, they will encounter a city intentionally designed to reflect 21st century priorities. Green infrastructure, digital governance, renewable energy, walkable neighborhoods, public spaces integrated with nature. Rather than emphasizing colonial history, Nusantara seeks to project confidence in Indonesia's future. Architecture becomes diplomacy, urban planning becomes national branding, infrastructure becomes a statement of identity. This soft power should not be underestimated. Countries increasingly compete not only through military strength or economic size, but also through ideas, innovation, education, culture, technology, sustainability. Cities themselves become global symbols. Singapore transformed perceptions of urban governance. Dubai redefined modern infrastructure in the Middle East. Seoul became synonymous with technology and creativity. Indonesia hopes Nusantara can communicate its own distinctive vision to the world. Yet geopolitical influence also depends upon credibility. International audiences will closely observe whether Indonesia fulfills its promises. Will governance remain transparent? Will environmental commitments be honored? Will investment remain stable? Will public institutions operate efficiently? Will the city attract talent from across Indonesia and beyond? These questions extend far beyond domestic politics. They shape how the international community evaluates Indonesia's long-term trajectory. There is also a security dimension. Modern capital cities must consider resilience against natural disasters, cyber threats, critical infrastructure disruptions, and changing geopolitical realities. East Kalimantan offers several geographic advantages compared with Jakarta. It faces significantly lower risks from major earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Its location provides greater strategic depth. Its urban design allows security infrastructure to be integrated from the earliest stages of development. These considerations rarely dominate public discussion, yet they remain important elements of long-term national planning. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Nusantara is that it represents optimism at a time when many nations struggle to imagine ambitious long-term projects. Around the world, governments often focus on election cycles lasting 4 or 5 years. Nusantara requires thinking across generations. Its full realization may extend well beyond the tenure of any single president. That demands political continuity, institutional maturity, public trust, and national patience. Those qualities cannot be purchased, they must be cultivated. History offers many examples of nations whose greatest achievements required decades of sustained commitment. High-speed rail networks, space exploration, massive infrastructure programs, educational transformation, economic modernization. None were completed overnight. Nusantara belongs within that tradition of long-horizon nation-building. Whether it ultimately joins the ranks of history's great planned capitals remains uncertain. What is already clear is that Indonesia has made a profound statement. It believes its future deserves to be built, not merely inherited. It believes geography should serve opportunity rather than limit it. It believes that one of the world's youngest major populations deserves institutions designed for the century ahead. The world will decide for itself whether those beliefs become reality. But one thing is undeniable. Very few countries have attempted a transformation this ambitious while simultaneously balancing democracy, economic growth, environmental stewardship, and regional leadership. That alone makes Nusantara one of the most important urban experiments of our time. Yet behind every ambitious national project stands another force: leadership, vision, political will, personal legacy. No discussion of Nusantara would be complete without examining the leaders who transformed an idea discussed for decades into a project now rising from the forests of East Kalimantan. In the next chapter, we will explore the political journey of Nusantara, from the early dreams of Indonesia's founding generation to President Joko Widodo's defining legacy, and the continuation of the project under President Prabowo Subianto. We will ask a fundamental question: can a project this large survive political change, or does its future ultimately depend on the leaders who champion it?